राइट है। बस ये वॉइस का एक बार कंफर्म हो जाए फिर चले जाइए, है ना। एक बार ऑनलाइन वाले बच्चे प्लीज कंफर्म कर दीजिए इफ आई एम ऑडिबल। चैट में पीपल हु आर वाचिंग इट ऑनलाइन प्लीज कंफर्म इफ आई एम ऑडिबल। ओके, कैसे हैं आप लोग? रिविजन्स हो गया क्या? कितना रिवीजन कर लिया? तीन दिन वाला प्लान फॉलो हो रहा है? अच्छा, रिवीजन इफेक्टिवली हो रहा है ना? देखो, द थिंग्स दैट आई एम टीचिंग नाउ, they are just factual updates on the concepts that we have already covered in detail, and that's why you will see कि when I'm talking about PSLV, I'll just talk about ये PSLV C55 launch हुआ, इसमें ये हुआ, because we have already studied everything in details about how PSLV functions. It is 4-stage engine, what is XL, CA, all those dimensions we have covered. तो फटाफट ये factual updates we would be able to do. Okay, so let's jump into it. तो सबसे पहले we are starting. अच्छा, one more thing. देखो, in RTFQ of science we have done around 420 questions. We have 80 more questions to do. So tomorrow तो you have RTFQ of polity. In polity वो acts और उन सब पे RTFQ एक pending रह गया है, तो sir will be doing it. Day after tomorrow I'll take 1 hour session on updates. The way in environment we took 1 hour, 2 hour of environment updates, in the same way for science we'll take 2 hours of साइंस अपडेट. 1 घंटा आज ले लेंगे, 1 घंटा ऑन वेंसडे, एंड ऑन दैट डे ओनली वी विल डू रिमेनिंग 80 क्वेश्चंस. आई विल ट्राई टू डू रिमेनिंग 80 क्वेश्चंस. तो डे आफ्टर टुमारो साइंस का आरटीएफक्यू विद ऑल द अपडेट्स वुड बी डन. Sir, in the UPPCS, a lot of questions could be done easily through your current affairs notes, especially for science, environment, and scheme. Thank you. Granddaughter of patriarchal witches. ये नाम है इस बच्चे का. ओके ओके बेटा, मैंने आपको लाइव क्लास में पहली बार देखा है. आई एम सॉरी इफ आपका नाम मैंने ऐसे पढ़ दिया. हाँ, कमिंग बैक टू दिस, तो वी आर सेइंग कि टुडे वी आर डूइंग अपडेट्स. डे आफ्टर टुमारो विल डू अ स्मॉल अपडेट ऑन साइंस. अभी कुछ साइंस के अपडेट्स पेंडिंग है, प्लस आरटीएफक्यू ऑफ साइंस. तो विल बी डन विद साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी डे आफ्टर टुमारो. तो फरवरी तक we had completed science and technology thoroughly. There are small changes, small updates we would jump on to. So let's start with the space one. Space में देखो, PSLV C53, PSLV C54 we had studied. PSLV and its significance. PSLV में कितने engines हैं, why solid liquid, we already understand that. अभी PSLV C55 launch हुआ था कब? April 22 को. PSLV C55 would be the 57th launch of PSLV. It will be 57th launch of PSLV. हमने समझा हुआ है. This PSLV C55 was a dedicated commercial mission. What is meant by dedicated commercial mission? It means that it did not launch any satellite from Government of India or of ISRO. All the satellites which it would launch would be for commercial purpose. So it was a dedicated commercial mission through NSIL. We know NSIL. We studied NSIL already, where 2 satellites, TeleOS-2 and Lumelite 4, these 2 were launched. Total weight, एक का 741 kg, दूसरे का 16 kg, तो total weight was less than 800 kg, and both these satellites were of Singapore, and that is why dedicated commercial mission. Fine. Now यहाँ पे one more thing that happened was poem 2. तो poem we understand, PSLV orbital experimental module. I said 4th stage of PSLV, it keeps revolving for a few days, like other engines fall back, but the 4th stage keeps revolving. So on that 4th stage we put some instruments which behaves like satellite. That is poem. So PSLV orbital experiment module, poem 2 was launched here. The spent PS4 stage of the launch vehicle would be utilized as an orbital platform to carry out scientific experiment through non-separating payloads. The payload belonged to ISRO, Bellatrix, Dhruva Space and Indian Institute of Astrophysics. So basically इसमें the 4th stage में the payloads which went for experimental purposes belong to these 4 institutions. Now you may start questioning this कि sir, why are you saying that it's a dedicated commercial mission? जो primary launches थे ये तो experimental है ना. Primary launches were for Singapore, TeleOS-2 and वो. That is why this thing. So this happened on April 22nd April. तो अभी like UPSC is not going to ask anything beyond this. What I'm trying to cover everything till 28th April. 28th April के beyond I'm not covering anything. Okay. Now LVM 3, हमने GSLV Mark 3 पढ़ा है. LVM3 पढ़ा है, JSLV Mark 3 was called LVM3। तो देखो LVM3 या JSLV Mark 3 का फर्स्ट डेवलपमेंटल मिशन GSAT 19 को लॉन्च किया था उसने, सेकंड में GSAT 29 को लॉन्च किया था। LVM Mark 3 का पहला कमर्शियल और ये मेन मिशन में क्या गया था, चंद्रयान। LVM3 M1 में चंद्रयान गया था, LVM3 M2 में क्या गया था, वी हैड स्टडीड इट अक्टूबर में, वन वेब के 36 सैटेलाइट्स। LVM3 M2 में वन वेब के 32 सैटेलाइट्स हैड गॉन। वी रिवाइज नहीं किया है क्या, मैं पीटने वाला हूं। 18th, like I had given you a plan on 1st of May to 18th of May, 3 days each, you should have revised the entire subjects. हाँ, तो it should be coming like this from you. 18th के बाद 1 day revision. See, as I told you on 1st of May, whatever you have studied till 1st of May is enough for you to clear the examination. उसके बाद like I think I'm taking 2 hours of classes every week. पिछले वीक में मैंने क्लासेस तो 2 ही घंटे लिए था, 1 घंटा एनवायरमेंट का, 1 घंटा एनवायरमेंट का। दिस वीक ऑल्सो आई टेक ओनली 2 hours ऑफ क्लासेस एंटायर वीक। बाकी रिविजन वुड बी हैपनिंग थ्रू RTFQ एंड ऑल। व्हाई आर सो मेनी स्टूडेंट्स कमिंग? Come back to this. So have everything revised properly. I'm promising you, if you revise whatever you have studied till 1st of May and if you are able to reproduce it in the examination, you will clear the examination. Okay, so we were talking about JSLV Mark 3, which is also called LVM3. तो LVM3 का एक तो एक्सपेरिमेंटल मिशन हुआ था, वो छोड़ देते हैं 2014 में, where only the first stage engine was tested. First developmental mission was GSAT 19. Second developmental mission was GSAT 29. First वैसा full-fledged mission was Chandrayaan 2. Chandrayaan 2. That was LVM3 M1. LVM3 M2 was OneWeb के 36 satellites launch करना, and LVM3 M3 is OneWeb के ही OneWeb India 2. OneWeb के another 36 satellites was launched. When? अभी March 2023 में. In its 6th consecutive successful flight of LVM3, the vehicle placed 36 satellites belonging to OneWeb Group company in their intended 450 circular orbit with an inclination of 87.4 degrees. Here also the total payload that they carried was around 5800 kgs. Just we already know these details from LVM3 M2. This is LVM3 M3. Everyone is comfortable here? Okay. हमने पढ़ा था SSLV का फेलियर, SSLV D1 डेवलपमेंटल मिशन 1 had failed. उसमें all 3 stages of solid engine worked fine, but when it came to releasing of the satellite, it could not be done. Therefore, it was a failure. SSLV D2 has been successful. Abhi February 2023 में it happened. SSLV small satellite launch vehicle D2 was successfully launched on February 10, 2023. Here, main satellite was Earth Observation Satellite 07, then Janus 1, Azadi Sat 2 satellites. These 3 were launched in a small, low Earth orbit after 15 minutes of flight. So SSLV, I'm not going into the details of SSLV, what are advantages of SSLV, because we already know it. We know the fact that a PSLV, assembling PSLV takes a lot of time. PSLV, the smallest payload that PSLV can carry is 1100 kg. So if someone wanted to come with a 300 kg satellite, we would have wanted them to wait. And to avoid this waiting period and to reduce the cost of transportation, if PSLV was a bus, we have created a cab. SSLV is the cab that we have created. Are we getting it? So SSLV का ये दूसरा developmental flight था, where these 3 have been launched. These 3 have been launched in low Earth orbit, where Earth Observation Satellite was by ISRO. Earth Observation Satellite EOS-7 was by ISRO. Janus 1, a 10.2 kg satellite, belonged to USA, and this company Antares USA. And Azadi Sat 2, it was developed with the contribution of 750 girls from various schools in India, guided by Space Kids Chennai. So these were the satellites. So all factual things. I'm only covering factual aspect here in the initial part, because we already know the science behind it, the concepts behind it. Now Voyager 2. Voyager 2 भी हमने पढ़ा था. You remember Voyager 2? So before we go to Voyager 2, let us understand some terms. What is heliopause, what is heliosphere? Let us understand this. We remember solar storms. सन सोलर फ्लेयर्स रिलीज कर रहा है ना, जिससे अर्थ पे कई बार सोलर स्टॉर्म्स आ सकते हैं. इफ सोलर स्टॉर्म्स रीच द सरफेस ऑफ अर्थ, देन डैमेजेस वुड बी हेवी एंड इट इज प्रिवेंटेड. वी आर प्रोटेक्टेड बिकॉज ऑफ द अर्थ्स मैग्नेटिक फील्ड, है ना. बट दीज सोलर स्टॉर्म्स आर मूविंग ऑल अराउंड द अर्थ ऑल द टाइम. वी नो दैट. हमने उसका मैकेनिज्म भी पढ़ा है कि हाउ डज इट हैपन एंड वेरियस थिंग्स रिगार्डिंग इट. तो देखो, दिस हेलियोस्फेयर ये क्या होता है? द सोलर विंड एमिनेटिंग फ्रॉम द सन क्रिएट्स अ बबल दैट एक्सटेंड्स फार पास द ऑर्बिट ऑफ प्लैनेट्स. देखो, सन यहां पे, ऑर्बिट ऑफ प्लैनेट यहीं कहीं आसपास तक है, बट दिस हेलियोस्फेयर इज मच लार्जर. The solar wind emanating from the sun creates a bubble that extends far past the orbit of the planet. This bubble is heliosphere. So, the place to which solar wind reach, solar wind is extended. Sun के चारों तरफ, the place till which solar wind is extended is called heliosphere. This bubble is heliosphere, shaped like a long wind shock as it moves with the sun through interstellar space. As sun is moving in the space, in the same way, along with sun, this solar wind ka sphere is also moving in the space. This is called heliosphere. You can see this. This is sun. This is heliosphere. The large heliosphere, जिसमें solar wind is moving. As sun is moving, this heliosphere also moves with the sun. And all our planets are located inside only. जैसे आप ये देख रहे हो, सन, इसके पास में ही मरकरी, अर्थ, वीनस, ये सब यहीं पे हैं. हेलियोस्फेयर इज मच लार्जर, मच फर्दर अवे इवन फ्रॉम नेपट्यून. डिड यू अंडरस्टैंड द मीनिंग ऑफ हेलियोस्फेयर? नाउ व्हाट इज हेलियोपॉज? हेलियोपॉज, देखो, अब सन से सोलर विंड्स आर गोइंग अवे फ्रॉम सन, राइट? एज it moves away, solar winds would be becoming weaker and weaker. At the same time, in the universe, there are these kind of winds coming from other sources also. They will collide at some place. If solar winds are stronger, solar winds would push ahead. If they are stronger, they would push ahead. But there would come a place where solar winds are balancing these. Solar wind stronger, solar wind push karega. But eventually there would come a place where they would balance each other. This place is heliopause, the boundary between solar wind and interstellar wind. The boundary between solar wind and interstellar wind is heliopause, where the pressure of the two wind, कौन सा wind? Solar wind and interstellar wind is in balance. The balance in pressure causes the solar wind to turn back and flow down the tail of heliosphere. तो आप देखोगे यहाँ पे इस तरफ से we are getting interstellar wind. Here we had solar wind, and because of this push, the solar winds, इस तरफ हेलियोस्फेयर बड़ा है, इस तरफ हेलियोस्फेयर छोटा है. तो as sun is moving towards the tail, it will have longer, heliosphere will have more part of on this side. Did we get this? Heliopause and heliosphere, ये दोनों चीजें हमें समझ में आई हैं. Heliopause and heliosphere. Heliosphere, the place till which suns का solar wind extends. Heliopause, वही boundary. Now please note that sun का solar wind is extending to heliopause. It doesn't mean that our solar system ends at heliopause. It is the place till which solar wind is reaching. Even beyond that, sun's gravity is reaching. So sun का gravity may be going further ahead. Right? Well, why I wanted to cover heliosphere and heliopause is because we want to study about Voyager 2. अभी न्यूज में क्या था अप्रैल में? Voyager 2 whose life was supposed to end, whose energy source was supposed to end in 2023, उसमें with some modification we have increased its energy source in such a way that it will be functioning for another 2 years. It will be functioning till 2026 now. So what has happened before that? Let's understand what is Voyager 2. Voyager 2 was a space probe launched by NASA in 1977. इट वाज नॉट ओनली वॉयेजर 2, एक वॉयेजर 1 भी लॉन्च, 2 है तो 1 भी गया होगा, है ना? तो बोथ 2 and 1 विद इन अ पीरियड ऑफ 15 days or so वर लॉन्च्ड बाय नासा टू स्टडी दी आउटर प्लैनेट्स. तो देयर पर्पस वाज कि जुपिटर, सैटर्न, नेपट्यून, इन सारे प्लैनेट्स को पढ़े, स्टडी करे. तो these missions reached there, their primary work was done, but then they kept on going ahead, going further away from Pluto, and these are the first human made objects to go that far. Voyager 2 देखो 1977 में लॉन्च हुआ था. The energy source it had was nuclear energy. Plutonium was the source of energy that it had. But कितना भी प्लूटोनियम लेके भेजा होगा, now it's been almost 45 years. 77 से 2023, almost 46 years. It was supposed to end, but some changes have been done. But first, let's come to Voyager. Srinivas Reddy is asking, which is the best source to update science and tech and environment topics? Santosh Sir's classes. Yeah, देखो, down to earth is good, PIB is also good, but now none of them are specifically for science and technology. है ना? तो I would say best source is the Hindu. The Hindu में science वाले section पे click करो and go through all the science updates. The best source is that, not down to earth. Down to earth is primarily environment वाला. But if you're not my student, अगर आपका कोई दो student है, notes ले लो, that would be better, because let me do all the research. आप बस पढ़िए ना. Okay, let's come back to this. So its primary mission ended with the exploration of Neptunian system in 1989. It had visited Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune also. It is the second spacecraft to enter interstellar space. On 10th December 2018, the spacecraft joined its twin Voyager 1 as the only human-made object to enter space between the stars, where sun का influence खत्म हो गया. Interstellar space. This is the first object to go into the interstellar space. इसका पावर सोर्स मैंने आपको समझा दिया, अप्रैल वाले अपडेट में आते हैं. बट बिफोर दैट लेट्स लुक एट इट्स अचीवमेंट. इट इज द ओनली स्पेसक्राफ्ट टू स्टडी ऑल 4 ऑफ द सोलर सिस्टम जायंट प्लैनेट, जुपिटर, यूरेनस, सैटर्न, नेपट्यून, ऑल 4 पढ़ने वाला. दैट इज द ओनली थिंग. द क्राफ्ट इज नाउ ट्रैवलिंग मोर देन 11.6 बिलियन माइल्स फ्रॉम अर्थ. इट इज बियॉन्ड हेलियोपॉज. हेलियोपॉज समझ गए? हेलियोपॉज, व्हाई आई वांटेड टू कवर हेलियोपॉज, हेलियोस्फेयर का बाउंड्री बना रहा था हेलियोपॉज. हेलियोस्फेयर का बाउंड्री बना रहा था हेलियोपॉज. इट इज द सॉरी, हाँ, द क्राफ्ट इज नाउ ट्रैवल, इट इज बियॉन्ड हेलियोपॉज और बाउंड्री रीजन वेयर द सन्स इन्फ्लुएंस एंड द इंटरस्टेलर मीडियम बिगिंस. नाउ प्लीज नोट, सन्स सोलर विंड वाला इन्फ्लुएंस एंड्स बिकॉज इंटरस्टेलर विंड आ जाता है, बट इट इज स्टिल पार्ट ऑफ सन्स सोलर सिस्टम. ओके, note, although both Voyager probes, Voyager 1 was launched on September 5, 1977 and Voyager 2 launched 16 days before its twin. So please note, Voyager 2 was launched before Voyager 1, have left heliosphere. They have both crossed heliosphere. That is, they have both crossed heliopause. Neither spacecraft has yet left solar system. Why? Because solar system का end ना Oort cloud के बाद होता है. Now, what are Oort clouds? Oort clouds is a collection of small objects that are still under the influence of sun's gravity. So, even beyond heliopause, there are these small objects which are revolving around sun. Sun के around revolve कर रहे, it means sun के gravity में है. They are revolving around sun. There are a number of these small objects. That is called Oort cloud. And this Oort cloud is huge. So, don't assume that Voyager 2 would be going beyond sun's gravity anytime soon. It's going to take 30,000 years. Okay, let's understand this. The width of Oort cloud is not precisely known, but it is estimated that it begins at around 1000 astronomical unit. 1 astronomical unit is the distance between Earth and Sun. So Oort cloud would begin at 1000 astronomical unit. And it extends to 1 lakh astronomical unit. It will take about 300 years for Voyager 2 to reach the inner edge of the Oort cloud. Oort cloud के inner edge पे जाने के लिए it's going to take, अभी भी it's not in Oort cloud, Beyond heliopause, Oort cloud is not immediately starting. So to go on the inner edge of the Oort cloud, it's going to take 300 years, and to go on the outer edge of the Oort cloud, it will take 30,000 years. So please note, in many sources it has been said that now it has gone beyond the influence of sun. No, beyond the influence of sun's solar wind. है ना, अब it is able to get interstellar winds also, but sun के influence से बाहर जाने के लिए अभी it's going to take 30,000 years, and पता नहीं तब तक क्या होगा. Just imagine 30,000 years back, what were we? We were Paleolithic people, old Stone Age tools. Mesolithic तो started only 11,000 years ago, right? Neolithic started only 7,000 years ago. तो हम लोग वियर्ड पत्थर के टूल लेके जानवरों के पीछे भाग रहे थे 30,000 years back. Anyways, I hope we have clarity. So now, what update had happened? You would see here, the aging Voyager 2 spacecraft has begun using a small reservoir of backup power to keep its instrument working despite a reduced power supply. Its power was, its energy source was ending, but it had some backup power which was for safety purposes and all. Now it has started using that. This backup power was set aside as part of an onboard safety mechanism. The spacecraft, which was scheduled to end its life in 2023, will now continue functioning till 2026. Now, please understand this. End its life मतलब ये नहीं था कि it would not continue moving ahead. End its life का मतलब था कि इसके पास कोई energy source नहीं रहेगा, because it will not be left with any energy source. It will not be able to send signal towards Earth. To send signal towards Earth, it would need some energy source, no? So that will continue only till 2026. So beyond 2026, what would happen to Voyager? It would keep on moving ahead, but we will not be receiving any information from it. Just imagine, we are just talking about our solar system, and the Voyager 2 to cross solar system will take 30,000 years. Imagine how small we are in this universe. I'm not even talking about the galaxy, I'm not even talking about the constellation, I'm just talking about our solar system. Right? तो जब बहुत टेंशन होने लगे ना जीवन में कि ये नहीं हुआ तो ऐसा होगा, वो नहीं हुआ, just imagine who are we in this universe, what is our position in this universe, and we'll understand our problems are nothing. Well, chill. Okay, chaliye, let's come to Voyager 2 is understood, heliopause heliosphere is understood. Let's go to Starship. अभी SpaceX का blast हुआ April 22 को. Now some of you may be unhappy कि इतनी लेट क्यों पढ़ा. अभी अप्रैल वाला न्यूज कवर करना है तो थोड़ा सा होगा ना. Right. Now here let's first understand this. When we are using the term Starship, so it consists of both the components. When we are using SpaceX Starship, so Starship has one Starship spacecraft. Spacecraft would be what? Like satellite, which will, जैसे Voyager है, Voyager is a spacecraft, and it also has the super heavy rocket. It has two components. When we use the term Starship, so it has Starship, spacecraft, and the super heavy rocket. Both these things together is called Starship. Are we getting this? Are we understanding this? So SpaceX, Starship, spacecraft, and super heavy rocket, collectively referred to as Starship, represent important part, fully reusable transportation system. That is, ये रॉकेट भी दोबारा यूज कर पाएंगे and ये spaceship भी दोबारा यूज कर पाएंगे. They are developing. We have talked about reusable launch vehicles, reusable spacecraft. We know that India isn't ready with that. SpaceX is developing Starship, which will be able to have both these reusable. SpaceX also already. We have studied about Falcon. Falcons are also reusable. Partially, they are reusable. Yahan they have made them completely reusable. First part. Now, they are designed to carry both crew and cargo. to Earth's orbit, to Moon, to Mars, and to beyond. This will be the most powerful rocket in the world. This will also be the most powerful launch system in the world. Starship. Look at where a private company has reached. Where a private company has reached. It will be world's most powerful launch vehicle ever developed, capable of carrying 150 metric tons. 1 ton is 1000 kg. हमारा LVM Mark 3 वो जियोस्टेशनरी ऑर्बिट में कितना वेट लेके जा सकता है? 4 टन्स. 4000 kg, 4 tons. 150 tons. It can carry 150 tons in the fully reusable form. But suppose आपको रॉकेट वापस लेके नहीं आना है, तो you will not need fuel for that purpose. In the non-reusable form, it can carry 250 tons. In the non-reusable form, it can carry 250 tons. अभी because it has just failed. देखो अप्रैल 20 के आसपास आपका क्वेश्चन पेपर भी बन रहा होगा, फाइनलाइज हो रहा होगा, एंड अप्रैल 20 के आसपास ये स्टारशिप फेल हुआ. तो वी मस्ट हैव सम idea about this. So look at the various components of this starship. तो पहला component क्या है इसका? पहला component है the spacecraft. The spacecraft is the vehicle that will move on in the space. दूसरा component है rocket. They together are called starship. तो starship, spacecraft. This is starship, spacecraft, fully reusable spacecraft, and second stage of the starship system. First stage तो क्या है? Rocket ही है. Second stage of the starship system, it offers an integrated payload system and is capable of carrying both crew and cargo. ये मालगाड़ी और पैसेंजर गाड़ी दोनों का काम कर रहा है. To Earth orbit, Moon, Mars, and beyond. It is also capable of point-to-point transport on Earth. A very interesting part. Once this project is successful, you will be able to reach from any point on Earth to any other point in less than 1 hour. This rocket, this spacecraft will go in space, will take you on that side, 1 घंटे में आपको दूसरी जगह पहुंचा देगा. It would be expensive initially, but just imagine living in Delhi and working in California. अभी it's not something practical, but right now ऐसा होता है ना कि think of people from Mumbai है ना. In Mumbai, my brother tells me that some of his colleagues travel for 3 hours every day, one side. 3 hours, 2 side में 6 hours. तो वो बेचारे 3 घंटे ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं, तो हम तो दिल्ली से कैलिफोर्निया. So in future it will be able to do that. But this is what? This is the spacecraft. This is the Starship spacecraft. When we are talking about Starship, we are talking about the entire Starship spacecraft plus the rocket. Okay, now this Starship spacecraft will also have its own engines. Why? Understand this. Rocket ne se, this is not just a satellite which will keep revolving around Earth. This is also a spacecraft which can move in think of this. Just suppose we have to go to Moon. So rocket will launch you to a height. Beyond that, you have to have your own engines to go ahead. So it will also have its own engines. We'll talk about those engines in some times. Give me a second. Then come to super heavy rocket. It is the first stage or booster of the Starship launch. It is basically the rocket, which will have 33 Raptor engines. The main engines that it has is Raptor engine, which is subcooled, which has fuel of methane, subcooled methane and liquid oxygen. Generally हम liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen देख रहे थे. तो methane is also an important fuel. तो methane and liquid oxygen will be the fuel. तो सवाल ये भी आ सकता है ना कि स्टारशिप में क्या फ्यूल यूज हो रहा था, या जो रैप्टर इंजन इट इज यूजिंग, विच इज द फ्यूल. तो इट हैज 33 of those Raptor engine. In its fully reusable, it is fully reusable and will re-enter Earth's atmosphere to land back at the launch site. रैप्टर इंजन के बारे में थोड़ा समझ लेते हैं. दिस इज द रैप्टर इंजन. इफ यू गो टू SpaceX वेबसाइट, डोंट गो नाउ, अभी आपके पास टाइम नहीं है. They have a very beautifully designed website where they have given these pictures. जैसे देख के ना आपका मन करता है और एक्सप्लोर करने का इनको. तो इफ यू रिमेंबर व्हेन वी वर स्टडिंग अबाउट SpaceX इन क्लासरूम, वहां पे हमने सारे रॉकेट्स के इमेजेस भी दिए थे, है ना. तो दिस इज द इंजन, रैप्टर इंजन. तो इट इज अ रियूजेबल मीथेन ऑक्सीजन स्टेज कंबस्टिबल इंजन. मीथेन ऑक्सीजन मतलब मीथेन फ्यूल, ऑक्सीजन oxidizer. Methane will be cooled. Methane otherwise is a gas. Methane will be cooled. So methane would be the fuel and oxygen would be oxidizer. That powers the Starship system. It powers the Starship system. Not only the Starship spacecraft but also the rocket. And has twice the thrust of Falcon 9 Merlin engine. Falcon 9 had Merlin engine. इसका thrust उससे 2 times ज़्यादा है. Starship will be powered by 6 engine. 3 Raptor engine and 3 Raptor vacuum engine. Starship यहां पे ना एक्चुअली Starship नहीं, Starship spacecraft लिखना चाहिए था. Starship spacecraft, because spacecraft is the one which will have 3 Raptor engines and 3 Raptor vacuum engines. Vacuum देखो, Starship is spacecraft is something that will go into space, so it will also need to function in vacuum. So vacuum engine is focused on, vacuum engine is doing what? It's ensuring that it is optimized to function in vacuum. Then super heavy, अब रॉकेट के पास कितने इंजन हैं ये? It will have 33 Raptor engines. स्पेसक्राफ्ट में तो कम ही होंगे. स्पेसक्राफ्ट has only 6 engines, 3 Raptor engine and 3 Raptor vacuum engine, whereas super heavy will be powered by 33 Raptor engine. No वैक्यूम वाला, क्योंकि रॉकेट तो विल बी इन दिस पार्ट ओनली. तो इट विल हैव 33 रैप्टर इंजन्स विद 13 इन द सेंटर एंड द रिमेनिंग 20 अराउंड द पेरीमीटर ऑफ बूस्टर्स एट द एंड. तो इफ यू लुक एट द बॉटम ऑफ द रॉकेट, वहां पे इंजन्स लगे होंगे, तो देयर वुड बी 13 इन द सेंटर एंड 20 एट द पेरीमीटर ऑफ द रॉकेट. रैप्टर इंजन. तो पता है प्रीलिम्स में ऐसा सवाल आ सकता है, रैप्टर इंजन वाज इन न्यूज़ रिसेंटली. इट इज अबाउट व्हिच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग? इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल, स्पेस ट्रैवल. इस तरह के, दैट्स व्हाई वी मस्ट हैव सीन दीस थिंग्स वंस. नाउ अभी लॉन्च हुआ इसका SpaceX giant new rocket blasted off on its first flight test in April 2023 but exploded minutes after rising from launch pad and crashed into Gulf of Mexico. It failed. ओरिजिनली इसका प्लान क्या था पता है? फ्लोरिडा से गया था ये, फ्लोरिडा से लॉन्च होना था, एंड देन स्पेसक्राफ्ट वुड हैव टेकन वन सर्कल अराउंड अर्थ एंड हवाई के पास इन द पैसिफिक इट वुड हैव फॉलन. बट बिकॉज इट एक्सप्लोडेड इट फेल इन गल्फ ऑफ मेक्सिको ओनली. गल्फ ऑफ मेक्सिको विल बी पार्ट ऑफ अटलांटिक ओशन. मैपिंग तो कर लिया है, तो इट फेल देयर ओनली बिकॉज इट एक्सप्लोडेड. So it was not carrying any satellite. It was not carrying any human. It was a test flight only, but the test would have been successful if it would have completed one circle and would have landed here. Fine. Are we understanding this? Okay. China to test out 3D printing technology on moon to build habitats. China is taking a lot of steps to increase its reach on moon. We have already studied about Chang'e program. Chang'e 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 mein what did they do? They were able to recover, bring some material from soil from moon. Chang'e 5 mein in 2020 they were able to do that. They landed on moon in 2013 for the first time. We have not been able to land on moon yet. Chandrayaan 3 may be able to allow us do that, and thus we are 10 years behind China when it comes to landing on moon. See, that's why the focus when we are competing with China, our focus should be on scientific development. If our focus will remain on useless things, we will not be successful. Our focus has to be on scientific development. Our resources has to go for scientific development. So China reached on moon. China landed on moon. Not human beings. Please note, human beings अभी तक land नहीं हुए चाइना वाले moon पे. ह्यूमन बींग्स बस अपोलो मिशन में लैंडेड ऑन मून, है ना. चाइना सॉफ्ट लैंडेड ऑन मून. जैसे हमारे विक्रम वाज सपोज टू सॉफ्ट लैंड ऑन मून, वी वर नॉट एबल टू डू दैट. They soft landed on moon in 2013. Chang'e 4 was the first mission to go on the far side of the moon, to land on the far side of the moon. Chang'e 5 mein they not only landed on the moon, they collected some material, they brought it back. They also planned that they would land an astronaut on the moon by 2030. And eventually we'll have colonies there, and that's why habitat building using 3D printing is something they're exploring. And before 2030, they'll also launch 678, Chang'e 678, with the later task to look for reusable resources on the moon for long-term human habitation. Are we getting this? What is China doing? Okay. Okay. Our history optional is starting on 11th of June. So please let your juniors know. देखो जो मेरे students हो, जो मुझे जानते हो अच्छे से, I'm promising you, no matter which teacher you're studying from, history optional जितना अच्छा ये दोनों मिलके पढ़ाएंगे, no one else would be doing it. A problem with history optional is no teacher completes the syllabus. There are very, very good people teaching history, but none of them complete syllabus in a timely manner. They have planned, Nikhil sir, Vishal sir have planned a longer course, a 6-month course, because they know for teaching history, there would be more work required because the syllabus is huge. Plus, both of them have divided syllabus in such a manner that दोनों में से किसी पे बहुत सारा लोड नहीं आएगा, and they will effectively be working on the papers that they are focusing upon. So if your juniors are looking for, देखो, we have anthropology optional. You know, no one is teaching in a very as exam centric manner, in as comprehensive manner as Karan sir. Same is the case with Nishat sir. Nishat sir is one of the best teachers for sociology in the country. In the same way, I'm saying history optional. Ask your friends to watch videos. वो जहां भी हिस्ट्री पढ़ना चाहते हैं ना, एक निखिल सर का वीडियो देखने को बोलना, और एक जिस भी टीचर के पास पढ़ना चाहते हैं उनका वीडियो देखने को बोलना. They would close their eyes and would come to Nikhil sir's classes. Okay, so our history optional is starting when? On 11th of June. 11th of June 2023, and it would be held in the evening. Classes would be from 5 to 7:30. Okay. Computer and IT. Let's come to computer and IT. Some updates on computer and IT. First, we're going to talk about biocomputers. Now, अभी देखो ये ना, अभी March 2023 में John Hopkins University में some updates had some research work is going on, and the Hindu had covered it in a lot of detail. Let's understand biocomputers, organoid intelligence. ये terms रहे हैं ना न्यूज में, एग्जाम में ऐसे बस वो term डाल के पूछ लेते हैं क्या है, किससे associated है. So let's understand this. Biocomputers. देखो, how should I explain? We have all used computers, right? People who are watching it online must be using some computer. Your mobile phone is also a computer only. Huh? We have all used computer. If you go 20 years back, 2003 में, you may have found a lot of people who had not used computers. If you go back 30 years, 93, you will find most of people who had not seen a computer. But now everyone is using computer. Okay. But even now, computers are very good at certain things. If you will ask it this problem, what is 729 square plus 829 square plus 929 square, it will give you an answer instantly. We will take some time. Human brain will take some time. But human brain is good at certain other places. For example, image recognition. Right? A computer is still not that great at image recognition. Right? Understanding complex things. A computer is still not that great. It means human brain has a processing which at some places is better than that of computers. So in biocomputers, we want to use human brain for various computing purposes. In biocomputers, we want to use human brains for various computing purposes. Purpose is not only that, for various computing problems, we want to use human brain. We'll understand how that would be used. But it's also, the purpose is also to understand human brain better. Through these biocomputers, we will understand human brains better, so that a lot of diseases which affect humans could be dealt with effectively. So understanding human brain has always been a very complex thing. Okay, now to understand human brain, scientists have developed what is called brain organoids. Now, देखो brain organ एक तो पूरा organ है. If we take बांद्रा, क्या नाम क्या है तुम्हारा बांद्रा, सिद्धार्थ. If we take सिद्धार्थ, उसका सिर फोड़ देते हैं, इसका पूरा ऑर्गन ब्रेन निकाल लेते हैं. ब्रेन निकलेगा, कचरा निकलेगा. वो देखो कचरा बोल रहा है. जयेश ही बोल रहा है. नहीं जयेश ने नहीं बोला, पारस ने बोला. पारस ने बोला, जयेश ने. जयेश तो अच्छा बच्चा है. तो when we take out that entire brain, that is the entire organ. Okay, we have studied stem cells. याद है? Using stem cells, can we grow some part of his brain? Small. Eventually, with advancement in biotechnology, we'll be able to grow the entire brain. But even now, we can grow parts of his brain. We can grow parts of his brain. Those small parts are being called organoids. Brain organoids. वो पूरा organ तो नहीं है. Those are called brain organoids. So look at it. Scientists are building 3D culture of brain tissue in the lab, also called brain organoids. These mini brains are built using human stem cells and capture many structural and functional features of developing human brain. Researchers are now using them to study human brain development and test drugs to see how they respond. So, in order to understand human brain, researchers are using organoids. Do we understand this? Do we understand the concept of organoid? Pakka, dekho, because we have already studied stem cells, we have already studied other such technical aspect. That's why I do not have to go into details of those things. Even for students who are watching it online, please know that I've already taught them 50-60 hours of science and technology, and that's why मैं ऐसे पढ़ा रहा हूँ. ये assume मत करना ये सर बस factual पढ़ाते हैं. Some people may assume this, no, कि this teacher is just this PSLV launch, this happened. So I'm just clarifying that. Now, organoid, did we understand? So using this organoid, we are understanding human brain, but there's a problem. See, in this brain, the way this brain is functioning, this brain is growing, its cells are getting reproduced, right? Brain cells मरते रहते हैं, नए cells आते रहते हैं. For that, it is getting blood flow, that is ensuring energy, nutrients to it, right? It is getting stimulus. Based on that stimulus, it is functioning. Organoids में वो सब possible नहीं होता है. Right? Organoid आपने बना दिया, but that fluid system doesn't exist. जिसके through continuously we can keep providing it the flow of blood with nutrients and all. So what scientists try to do, they transplanted human brain organoids into rat brains, and they also rat के brain को लेके some human brain organoids they had put it there, and they also saw that these human brain organoid were transplanted in such a manner that they were effective. That is when flashlight was put on the eyes of the rat, that part of human. कनिष्क त्यागी बोल रहे लकी मोमोज खाने चले. लकी बैठाएगा कोई क्लास में? पागल बच्चे. What was I saying? हाँ, तो रैट के ब्रेन में क्या डाल दिया गया? Organoids transplant किए गए, and it was completely integrated. So when a flashlight was put on rat, so that human organoid brain was functioning. It showed that it is just not put there, it is functioning there. Through that, we were trying to understand how human brain could function. But यहाँ पे when the study was being done, there was a problem. यहाँ पे impact on the rat was being understood. Human impact was not, like how human would be behaving, how human effect would be changed. ये did not happen. So limitation क्या था? Even here, effect of drugs in the model. For example, we wanted to see whether how this drug will affect human brain. The effect of drugs on the model will also have to be interpreted through structural behavior test in rats. It was not clearly how human would interact, how human would change. Right? Now, they are developing what is called biocomputers. Now they're developing what is called biocomputers. A combination of traditional computer and these organoids. A combination of traditional computer and these organoid. हमने DNA computing पढ़ा है? देखो, we have already studied like let's say supercomputer, fog computing, cloud computing, edge computing, quantum computing, DNA computing. Right? Let's study biocomputing. Organoids, brain organoids, and traditional computers. John Hopkins University researchers scheme will combine brain organoid with modern computing methods to create biocomputers. तो एक टर्म आएगा एग्जाम में, आएगा नहीं मतलब आ सकता है एग्जाम में, अब ऐसा ना हो सच में आ जाए एंड देन मेरे ऊपर पेपर लीक का। तो एक टर्म आ सकता है एग्जाम में कि बायो कंप्यूटर क्या है। बायो कंप्यूटर इज अ कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ ब्रेन ऑर्गेनॉइड विथ मॉडर्न कंप्यूटिंग मेथड्स। They have announced plans to couple organoid with machine learning by growing the organoid inside flexible structure affixed with multiple electrodes. तो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक स्ट्रक्चर में ये ब्रेन को ग्रो करेंगे, ब्रेन ऑर्गेनॉइड को ग्रो करेंगे, and there a lot of electrodes are also attached. Through those electrodes this brain would be given signal, and through those electrodes the brain would also be, or organoids, I should not say the brain, organoid would also, unka signal would also be read. Are we getting this? Are we understanding this? These structures will be able to record the firing pattern of the neurons and also deliver electrical stimuli. This is firing pattern of the neurons, मतलब जो सिग्नल दिए जा रहा है और जो सिग्नल आप ब्रेन एमिट कर रहा है वो सब these electrodes would be able to study. Scientists have already been successful in growing human neuron on top of a micro electrode array. Basically electronic components में human organoid they have already been able to grow that could both record and stimulate these neurons using negative and positive electric feedback from the sensor. They were able to train the neuron to generate pattern of electric activity that would be generated if human was or if neuron were playing table tennis. So these kind of things have already been done. तो इसके बहुत सारे advantages हैं. Advantages देखो, as I said कि our brain is still more effective than computer system in solving certain problems. So those problems could be effectively dealt with, but at the same time through this mechanism we'll be able to understand brain better, how it is functioning, we'll be able to understand it better. Uske diseases ko we'll be able to understand better. We are reading every stimulus, we are with this medicine what would happen, we'll be able to understand those things better. And finally they can also help in decoding pathology of drug development for devastating neurodevelopmental and degenerative diseases such as Parkinson's disease and microcephaly. But right now abhi a lot of other things need to be done. First we need to achieve the scale. Brain organoids थोड़े और बड़े develop करने होंगे, then we'll have to develop this microfluid system through which energy would be वहां पे तो अब brain को you cannot keep giving electricity the way electronic components को you can keep giving electricity, but when the organoid would be part of the biocomputers, what will you need to give? You'll need to give it the nutrients through which it will be able to multiply, it will be able to survive, it will be able to get energy, it will be able to function. So we need to develop that microfluidic system to transport oxygen and nutrients. Scientists would also need to develop and use advanced analytical techniques. Brain से information read करना और brain को information देना. This technology would also need to be developed more, and they have also an ethics team should also be created to understand what they are doing is ethical or not, or what part is ethical, what part is not ethical. तो चलो ये तो way forward हो गया, but did we understand biocomputers and why they are needed? Okay, let's go to National Quantum Mission. National Quantum Mission ये अभी लॉन्च हुआ है, अप्रैल में शायद लॉन्च हुआ है, मार्च या अप्रैल में. नेशनल क्वांटम मिशन. we have done quantum computing. तो क्वांटम कंप्यूटिंग इंडिया में क्या हो रहा था? तो देयर वर 2-3 थिंग्स दैट वी हैड सीन. 2018 में वी लॉन्च्ड क्वेस्ट, बट क्वेस्ट में ओनली 80 crore rupees वर allocated. लेटर इन 2021-22 नहीं नॉट 2000 किसी एक साल बजट में गवर्नमेंट सेड कि वी विल बी स्पेंडिंग 8,000 crore rupees फॉर ऑन अ क्वांटम टेक्नोलॉजी मिशन. वी हैव स्टडीड दिस. वो मिशन अभी लॉन्च हुआ है. नेशनल क्वांटम मिशन, राइट. नेशनल क्वांटम मिशन प्लान ड्यूरिंग 2023-2031. तो 8 साल के पीरियड के लिए 2023-24 टू 2030-31 6,000 crore rupees allocation के साथ दिस नेशनल क्वांटम मिशन इज लॉन्च्ड. व्हाट इज द पर्पस? इंडिया में R&D इन द क्वांटम एरेना इंक्रीज करना एंड बिल्डिंग क्वांटम बेस्ड कंप्यूटर्स. इंडिया में रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट इन द फील्ड ऑफ क्वांटम इंक्रीज करना और क्वांटम बेस्ड कंप्यूटर्स बनाना. It will also entail development of satellite-based secure communication between a ground station and receiver located 3,000 kilometers away. सैटेलाइट हमारे जैसे जियो स्टेशनरी सैटेलाइट 3,600 किलोमीटर अवे होता है, तो क्वांटम कम्युनिकेशन we should be able to do during the first 3 years. For satellite-based communication between Indian cities, NQM will lay communication lines using quantum key distribution over 2,000 kilometers within the country. तो हम सैटेलाइट से कम्युनिकेट कर रहे हैं, बट यूजिंग सैटेलाइट फ्रॉम वन पार्ट ऑफ द कंट्री टू अनदर पार्ट ऑफ द कंट्री, यू शुड बी एबल टू कम्युनिकेट. उसके लिए भी मैकेनिज्म्स आर देयर. फॉर लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस कम्युनिकेशन, टेस्ट विल बी कंडक्टेड इन कमिंग ईयर्स. तो इन द फर्स्ट 2-3 years, first satellite communication thing we should be able to achieve, and then this aspect. So under National Quantum Mission, there are 4 broad themes: quantum computing, quantum communication, quantum sensing and meteorology, and quantum materials and devices. Under these 4 themes, all the work would happen. Thematic hub for each will be established at research institutions and R&D centers who are already working in the field of research. So कुछ IIT, कुछ ISC, कुछ labs. For all these 4 sectors, thematic hub for each of them would be created. Department of Science and Technology will lead the mission, supported by other departments. The mission put India among the top 6 nations in the world which are working on quantum computers. Which are the countries? जैसे US होगा, चाइना है, फ्रांस है, रशिया है. रशिया इसमें अच्छा, US, चाइना, कनाडा, फ्रांस, फिनलैंड एंड ऑस्ट्रेलिया. नाउ इंडिया इज among 6 those countries. I hope we understood this national quantum mission. देखो ये अभी मार्च अप्रैल में ही आया है. जब आपका पेपर बन रहा होगा तो very factual question from this may also get asked. Okay, now organic LED. We'll come to organic LED. There are some doubts. Nitin is asking how to trust on ourselves again after failing. नितिन करते हैं, अभी क्लास के बाद बात करते हैं इस पे. सर व्हाट इज द यूज ऑफ बायोकंप्यूटर? बायोकंप्यूटर का यूज बताया ना. एक तो यूजिंग इट्स प्रोसेसिंग पावर टू सॉल्व सर्टेन प्रॉब्लम्स व्हिच कंप्यूटर्स आर नॉट एबल टू डू, व्हिच जहां पे प्रोसेसिंग कम रहती है, बट मोर इंपॉर्टेंटली अंडरस्टैंडिंग हाउ ह्यूमन ब्रेन फंक्शंस एंड हाउ टू डील विथ इट्स डिजीजेस. ब्रेन डिजीजेस बहुत सारे, पार्किंसंस डिजीज एंड ऑल, हाउ टू डील विथ दैट. लेट्स कम बैक टू ऑर्गेनिक एलईडीज. वी रिमेंबर एलईडीज, हमने एलईडी पढ़े हैं, लाइट एमिटिंग डायोड्स. हमने डायोड भी पढ़ा था. व्हाट इज डायोड? पीएन जंक्शन. ओके. दो सेमीकंडक्टर, पी टाइप सेमीकंडक्टर, एन टाइप सेमीकंडक्टर brought together formed a PN junction that was basically a diode. Now some of these diodes, when electricity passes through it, would emit light. They become light emitting diodes. We have talked about other such features of light emitting diodes, various schemes to promote LEDs in India. Now what are organic LEDs? Let's understand that. मेरे टीम वाले चाय लाके रख जाते हैं नीचे क्लास से पहले. अब मुझे बताया नहीं तो मुझे कैसे पता चलेगा? सर आप बहुत खुश लग रहे हैं आज. यार आप, मेरे को पढ़ाने में मजा आता है सच में. आप ना 5:55 पे जब मैं ऑफिस में आया हूं, पूछ लेना. सब बोले सर परेशान क्यों लग रहे हो, मतलब डाउन सा, बट व्हेन आई सॉ योर फेसेस आई फेल्ट गुड. तो पढ़ाने में मजा आता है, इसलिए मतलब अभी अ फ्यू डेज बैक ना, आई विल टेल यू समथिंग इंटरेस्टिंग. हम 2 टीचर्स बैठ के डिस्कशन कर रहे थे, एंड देन वी सेड दिस. सर एक बात बोली जाए तो हम लोगों को ना पढ़ने के पैसे मिलते हैं, इससे अच्छी जॉब क्या हो सकती है? लाइक वी लाइक स्टडिंग दोज थिंग्स और हमें उसके पैसे मिल रहे हैं, राइट? इन द सेम वे, लाइक टीचिंग वाज वन ऑफ माय हॉबीज इन द सेंस कि मैं एनएसएस में पढ़ाता था, स्कूल अपने कॉलेज में एनएसएस में पढ़ाता था। एग्जाम से पहले अपने सारे दोस्तों को बिठा के पढ़ाता था। वो बोलते थे भाई तू टीचर बन जा, मैंने कहा यार कैसी बातें कर रहे हो, इवेंचुअली सच में मैं टीचर बन गया। तो टीचिंग इज समथिंग दैट आई लव, दैट आई लाइक। तो ऐसा होता है ना, जिस चीज में मुझे मजा आ रहा है वही मेरा प्रोफेशन बन गया है। तो दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई कैन कीप डूइंग फॉर एंटायर लाइफ। सर योर वीडियो सफिशिएंट फॉर प्रीलिम्स? यस, दे आर सफिशिएंट। दे आर सफिशिएंट एज आई हैव टोल्ड यू। जितना पढ़ाया गया है आप पढ़ के रिवाइज करके उसे रिप्रोड्यूस करोगे एग्जाम में, नो वन वुड स्टॉप योर सिलेक्शन, I guarantee you that, right? And you must have seen my commitment. अभी I could have closed everything कि हो गया जितना पर, उससे भी सिलेक्शन हो सकता है, but I'm still ensuring कि anything relevant which may have been left could be is getting done. Okay, hello sir, मैं हिंदी मीडियम से हूँ, आप एनवायरमेंट मॉड्यूल ज्वाइन किया, बहुत अच्छा था, धन्यवाद। अच्छा, हिंदी मीडियम में वालों को भी अच्छा लगा, नाइस, थैंक यू। Organic LEDs. So let's come back to LEDs. We are talking about LEDs, light emitting diodes, P junction, N junction, semiconductor devices, right? Device क्या है? कंप्यूटर एंड आईटी में हमने पूरा डिटेल में पढ़ा है। Now, when these components are made up of carbon-based material, they are organic. Those LEDs will be called organic LEDs. So organic LEDs would be semiconductor devices emitting light made up of organic material. That's it. OLEDs are solid state semiconductor devices composed of thin films of organic molecules that create light when electricity is applied. अब देखो वो वाले LEDs जो सेमीकंडक्टर वाले थे, वो वाले LEDs जो सेमीकंडक्टर वाले थे, they were semiconductor LEDs, but they not necessarily were organic. They not necessarily were made up of carbon-like material, but carbon material. But these LEDs would be made up of carbon material. So, do you know? You must have when you buy a phone, or you must have heard these terms कि your phone has a AMOLED display. हम AM का मतलब समझेंगे, but OLED is basically organic LED. Right? If you have used traditional phones or छोटे स्क्रीन वाला फोन, वहां पे भी organic LEDs were being used. If you have वो iPod होता था ना जिसमें गाने भरे जाते थे, उसमें जो स्क्रीन होती थी छोटी सी, वो भी organic LED से बनती थी. Right? We'll understand why, we'll understand significance, we'll understand various types of organic LEDs, and then we'll also talk about the new research about flexible organic LEDs, which can stretch 2 times. अगर वो 1 सेंटीमीटर या 2 सेंटीमीटर स्ट्रेच होके हो जाएगा. ये न्यूज उसके बारे में था, बट लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड ऑर्गेनिक एलईडीज मोर. एडवांटेजेस, अच्छा विल कम टू ऑर्गेनिक एलईडीज, बट फर्स्ट लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड हाउ organic LED function. Now, to again, before we go to how organic LED function, let us go to P junction, N junction. This was our PN junction diode. Some of the PN junction diode, when electricity source is applied, will emit light. This was our LED, right? In organic LED, you will have एनोड एंड कैथोड तो होगा, जहां पे दोनों तरफ आप बैटरी लगाओगे, एनोड कैथोड, बट यू ऑल्सो हैव अ सबस्ट्रेट. सबसे नीचे देखो सबस्ट्रेट. सबस्ट्रेट इज व्हाट? इट इज अ सपोर्ट फॉर ओलेड. ऑर्गेनिक एलईडी को सपोर्ट कर रहा है ये सबस्ट्रेट. तो इट विल बी अ प्लास्टिक, ग्लास और फॉइल. सॉरी. हाँ, तो इट विल बी प्लास्टिक, ग्लास और फॉइल विच विल बी सपोर्टिंग एलईडी. तो नो प्रॉब्लम है ना ऑर्गेनिक एलईडी का. देन वी हैव एनोड एंड कैथोड. ऊपर और नीचे क्या है? सबसे नीचे एनोड एंड कैथोड. हेयर एनोड इज पॉजिटिव टर्मिनल एंड आप नीचे आएंगे यहां पे तो कैथोड इज नेगेटिव टर्मिनल. जब electricity had to be supplied, so it will have to be connected to the electricity supply. Sorry, when light will be emitted, तो electricity supply इससे connect होगा, तो anode and cathode में वो electricity supply would be attached. Anode, the anode removes electrons when a current flows through the device, and cathode, the cathode injects electron when a current flows through the device. In fact, अगर आप यहां देखोगे, this is anode, this is cathode, बीच वाले layers की बाद में बात करते हैं. This is anode, this is cathode. ये पॉजिटिव, ये नेगेटिव. What would happen? पॉजिटिव, अगर बैटरी का पॉजिटिव साइड आप यहां कनेक्ट करोगे, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी विल फ्लो इन दिस डायरेक्शन, इलेक्ट्रॉन विल फ्लो इन दिस डायरेक्शन. इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का जो डायरेक्शन होगा, इलेक्ट्रॉन नेगेटिव चार्जेस, इलेक्ट्रॉन विल फ्लो इन दिस डायरेक्शन, तो इलेक्ट्रॉन विल गो इनटू कैथोड. तो यहां पे यू सी दिस एक्स्ट्रा इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, और यहां से इलेक्ट्रॉन्स निकल गए, तो यू सी दिस होल्स. तो ऑन कैथोड यू विल हैव एक्स्ट्रा इलेक्ट्रॉन्स, on anode you will have extra holes. Are we getting this? Are we understanding this? तो cathode, anode, तो anode में हम क्या बोल रहे थे? Anode removes electrons and thus add electron holes. Anode, it removed electrons and added holes, electron holes. Electron holes would be positively charged. Electron निकल गया तो electron was the negative charge. Now come to organic layers. हम जिसकी बात कर रहे हैं organic LED, it consists of these organic layers. One is called conducting layer, other is emissive layer. Emissive layer को emissive layer इसलिए बोल रहे हैं because it is here the light would be emitted. And conductive layer will be the layer, देखो, this layer is made up of organic plastic molecule that transport holes from the anode. One conducting polymer used, example is polyaniline. So it will, why is it called conducting layer? It will transfer holes. Anode say, if you see this anode pe you will have extra holes. Cathode pe you will have electrons. This hole will be transmitted through the conductive layer. Come here. You see, ये hole जो बना है वो conductive layer से transfer हो रहा है. Conductive layer से वो कहाँ जाएगा? Emissive layer में जाएगा. Conductive layer से holes are getting transmitted, reaching emissive layer. Emissive layer में electron से वो hole will combine and will release light, and that's why that layer is emissive. They are emitting light. That layer is emissive. They are emitting light. Are we understanding this? Are we getting this? पक्का? मजा आ रहा है? मजा आए ना, ये समझ में आ रहा है? ओके. तो किसकी बात कर रहे थे हम? Conducting layer, this layer is made up of organic plastic molecules that transport holes from the anode. Example is polyaniline. Emissive layer, the layer is made up of organic plastic molecule that transport electrons from the cathode. Cathode से electron transmit होगा. This is where light is made. So one polymer using this is one example is polyfluorine. Polyfluorine may be one of the emissive layers which can be used. Okay, so how OLEDs emit light? Attach a voltage across the cathode and anode. तो ये अपना organic LED है, इसमें नीचे substrate है, anode cathode, and बीच में अपने what layers? Emissive and conductive. These two organic layers. Now आपने बैटरी अटैच करी, यहां से इलेक्ट्रॉन विल फ्लो टुवर्ड्स दिस, करंट विल फ्लो लाइक दिस, बट इलेक्ट्रॉन विल फ्लो लाइक दिस. एक्स्ट्रा इलेक्ट्रॉन, holes will move through conductive layer to emissive layer. In emissive layer you will get electrons, they will merge and will produce light. This is how organic LED function. This is how organic LED function. Are we understanding this? Now, color of the light will depend on the type of organic molecule. Different type of organic molecule will produce different color, red, blue, green, and so on. Intensity or the brightness of light will depend on how many electrons and holes are combining, right? So it will depend on the amount of electricity applied. Intensity, देखो, color will depend on the material, है ना, इलेक्ट्रॉन और होल कंबाइन होकर कितना एनर्जी रिलीज हो रहा है, एंड हाउ मच ऑफ द एनर्जी इज गेटिंग रिलीज. इंटेंसिटी will depend on how many electrons and holes are combining. It will depend on the electricity that is applied. It will depend on the electricity that is applied. The intensity of brightness of the light depends on the amount of electric current applied. The more current, the brighter the light. Okay, now LEDs have certain advantages. OLEDs have certain advantages. Second line में आ जाओ. जब अपन ने OLED पढ़ना शुरू किया था ना, तो it has some advantages. Let's look at this. OLEDs can provide brighter, crisper displays on electronic devices and use less power than conventional LEDs and LCDs. समझते हैं इनको. We'll understand both of them, but please understand it can provide brighter, crisper displays on electronic devices with less power than conventional LEDs and LCDs. हमारे घरों में टीवी होता है, LCDs. We'll also understand how LCDs function and why OLEDs are better than those LCDs. Are we getting this? Okay. देखो, OLEDs are made in sheet. That OLED, जो OLEDs हैं, we just saw layers. They're made in sheets. So sheets, their light source, unlike LED, where light source is point, here light source would be diffused. First point ये समझो ध्यान से. इससे we'll come to various features. OLEDs are made in sheets that are diffuse area. OLED technology is developing rapidly, and there are handful of products offering with efficacy light. We'll come to this. Let's first come to types of OLEDs. Types of organic LEDs. First that we want to cover is passive matrix LEDs. What is passive matrix LED? यहाँ पे ना the two layers are put in perpendicular to each other. You can see this. एक ये और एक ऐसे. They are put perpendicular to each other. So it consists of strips of cathode, organic layer, and strips of anode. The anode strip are arranged perpendicular to cathode strip. You see the cathode strip? Cathode strip जहां से जो negative वाला है, and नीचे anode strip. They are put perpendicular to each other. When they are put perpendicular to each other, you would see that there would be this kind of matrix created, जहां पे they are overlapping cathode strips and anode. So here you will have multiple strips. जैसे ये देखो, cathode, rather than one cathode, you have multiple cathodes and multiple anodes. They are put perpendicular to each other. तो एक टेबल जैसा बन रहा है, मैट्रिक्स जैसा बन रहा है. This is called passive matrix OLED. It consists of ये पढ़ लिया था हमने. The intersection of the cathode and anode make up the pixel where light is emitted. Now understand this. इसे ऐसे समझते हैं. Or let me draw it here. तीन ही बनाता हूं मैं. Now consider this. Suppose इस वाले एनोड से इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जा रही है और इस वाले से जा रही है. तो which one of them will emit light? Only this one? If they are connected, only this one will be emitting light. Are we getting this? Are we understanding this? So the intersection of cathode and anode make up the pixel where light is emitted. And please note, these cathode and anode that we have talked about, or these LEDs that we have talked about, organic LEDs that we have talked about, they are very very small. तो ना स्क्रीन, जब आप कोई छोटा स्क्रीन, जैसे आईपॉड का स्क्रीन देखते थे, तो आईपॉड के स्क्रीन पे लिखा आता है ना 21. तो व्हाट इज हैपनिंग ऑन द स्क्रीन? सम ऑफ द पिक्सेल्स आर emitting light, some of the pixels are not emitting light, or emitting light of different color. How is a particular screen visible to you? Because how does this screen function? Different pixels are emitting different light. तो कुछ white background में black में कुछ लिखा हुआ है. It means only the black wala part is not emitting light. White background wala, everything is emitting white light. So how will that pixel be determined here? That pixel will be determined by this intersection. On a display, this pixel will be determined by this intersection. Now, here we use an external circuit. external circuit applies current to selected strips of anode and cathode, determining which pixel get turned on and which pixel remain off. Brightness of each pixel is proportional to the amount of applied current. So there would be an external circuit here which will determine which pixel will be turned on, which pixel will be turned off. So this circuit will be a programmed one जो अलग अलग डिस्प्ले के लिए different kind of electricity will supply and it will determine what is getting on, what is getting off, and this is how the displays function. Now इसका advantage है, this is very easy to make, but there are some limitations. It consumes more power than other OLEDs, other organic LEDs, not other LEDs, not other LCDs. It is still more efficient than LEDs and LCDs, but it is consuming more electricity because there is an external circuit, na? Because of that external circuit, it consumes more electricity. It consumes more electricity than this. Are we getting? Okay. Application, it is suitable for text and icons. तो अब देखो आईपॉड पे वीडियो चल रहा होता था क्या? नहीं, कुछ टेक्स्ट डिस्प्ले हो रहा था, कुछ आइकन डिस्प्ले होता है, राइट? तो it is suitable for text and icon and thus are best suited for small screens 2 to 3 inch such as those used in cell phones, PDAs, MP3 players, etc. Note, even with external circuitry, passive matrix OLEDs consumes less battery than LCDs and other such devices. So please note, PM OLEDs are less efficient than other OLEDs but not LCDs. LCDs से तो ये अभी भी ज्यादा efficient है. एक्टिव मैट्रिक्स OLEDs, एमोल्ड डिस्प्ले की बातें करते हैं. तो सर आप दिल्ली में अकेले रहकर बोर नहीं होते? भाई मैं अकेले कहाँ रहता हूं? मेरे क्लासरूम में 1000 बच्चे हैं, उनके कॉल्स आते रहते हैं, सर ये नहीं हुआ, वो नहीं हुआ, और मुझे बहुत सारी चीजें पढ़ने को है. आई टीच साइंस, आई टीच एनवायरमेंट, आई टीच डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट, आई टीच इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी, आई टीच इकोनॉमी, मैं पॉलिटी भी पढ़ाता हूँ, मैं इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया भी पढ़ाता हूँ, सब पढ़ाता हूँ. मैं बोर नहीं, तुम बोर होते हो. और सिद्धार्थ बोल रहा है उसके पास 4 गर्लफ्रेंड्स भी हैं. मेरे मैं क्लास ले पाता अगर ऐसा होता तो. अगर ऐसा होता ना, मैं थोड़ा और पढ़ के आपको थोड़ा और पढ़ा देता. अभी माई कमिटमेंट इज यू पीपल. आई प्रॉमिस यू दैट यू पीपल आर दी प्रायोरिटी. आपसे ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट कुछ नहीं है. ठीक है, लेट्स कम बैक टू दिस. एमोल्ड, active matrix OLED, they have full layers of cathode organic molecules and anode, but the anode layers overlay a thin film of TFT, thin film transistor. तो देखो यहाँ पे ना वो मैट्रिक्स जैसा स्ट्रक्चर नहीं है. देयर आर फुल लेयर. ये देखो कैथोड फुल लेयर पे है, एनोड फुल लेयर है, ऐसे स्ट्रिप्स वाले फॉर्म में नहीं है, तो कोई मैट्रिक्स वेट्रिक्स कुछ नहीं बना रहा. बट कैथोड एनोड फुल, देयर इज अ ओवरले अ थिन फिल्म transistor TFT array. So you would see that there is this TFT array here or TFT matrix. So it is through this TFT matrix which part is emitting light, which part is not emitting light. वहां पे तो क्या था? The intersection determined the circuit. The intersection determined the क्या intersection ने क्या determine किया? Light कहां पे emit हो रहा है, कहां पे नहीं हो रहा है. यहां पे it is this thin film transistor array will decide कहां पे light emit हो रहा है, कहां पे नहीं हो रहा है, and here there is no external circuit and thus it is more efficient. Advantages, it consumes less power than PM OLEDs because TFT array requires less power than external circuitry, so they are efficient for large displays. They also have faster refresh rate, videos and all, more efficient videos. देखो frames per second जो होता है, जितना अच्छा होगा उतने अच्छी क्वालिटी का स्क्रीन होता है. Application, computer monitor, large screen TVs, electronic signs or billboards, all these use PM OLED. Did we understand this? Okay. Transparent OLEDs. Transparent OLED कुछ नहीं है, इसके जो एनोड और कैथोड होंगे ना, वो दोनों ट्रांसपेरेंट होंगे. That's it. So it will be able to emit light on both the sides. ओके तो कई बार इसका एक एग्जांपल यूज होता है हेड्स अप डिस्प्लेस. हेड्स अप डिस्प्लेस, यू आर लुकिंग, जैसे सामने विंड स्क्रीन है, उस पे यू आर लुकिंग एट द थिंग्स विच आर अक्रॉस, प्लस एट द सेम टाइम कुछ डिस्प्ले पे आ गया, राइट, ऑन द स्क्रीन ओनली. तो डिस्प्ले इज ऑल्सो देयर बट इट्स ट्रांसपेरेंट, so you're able to see across also. So that is one of the examples of transparent OLEDs. Are we getting this? Then top emitting OLEDs में एक ही साइड से emit कर पाओगे. तो they have substrate that is either opaque or reflective. जो base substrate होगा that will be opaque or reflective, and thus light would be emitted only from one side. Substrate opaque हो गया, reflective हो गया, तो light will be emitted from only one side. They are best suited to active matrix design manufacturing and may use top emitting OLED displays in smart cards. So smart cards में सिर्फ एक तरफ से display होगा, that is one. Then foldable OLEDs. They have substrate made up of very flexible metallic foils or plastic. Though these OLEDs would be foldable. तो पहले traditionally foldable phones with वो बड़े screen में this is what has been tried there. आपने देखा होगा अभी foldable phones आ रहे हैं जिसमें screen could be folded. There this has been used. White OLEDs, they emit light that is brighter, more uniform and more energy efficient than the emitted by fluorescent lights. Advantages. Let's come to organic LEDs के advantages. देखो पहला advantage तो वही है कि more efficient है, light diffused होगा, point source में नहीं होगा. तो जैसे आपको घरों में light चाहिए, तो rather than from one point source, diffused, it would look better, it would occupy less space and it would appear as if light is coming from inside, right? तो एक ऐसे समझो कि rather than having a bulb, you'll have sheet and light is coming from that entire sheet. Won't that be better? Yes. So OLEDs can be configured as large area, more diffuse light source, whose soft light can be viewed directly. There are other advantages also. When there's a point source of light, you cannot look at it directly. But when the same light is coming in the diffused form, it's covering more area and you will be able to look at it. You will not damage your eyes, right? OLEDs can be made very thin, increasing their eye appeal and allowing for easy attachment to the surface of wall and ceiling. OLEDs are brighter than LEDs because the organic layers of OLEDs are much thinner than the corresponding inorganic crystal of the LED. The conductive emissive layers of OLED can be multi-layered. Further, it doesn't require glass for support, and thus OLEDs के केस में we don't require glass for support, and thus light which is emitted can be much higher. Plus, they are much more energy efficient. LCDs से भी, LEDs से भी. देखो LCDs का तो ना एक basic problem है. LCDs में do you know what happens? LCDs are backlit. LCDs में पीछे से लाइट आती है, ठीक है. अब उस लाइट को ना ब्लॉक किया जाता है, यहां से लाइट जाएगी, यहां से नहीं जाएगी. तो when something is backlit, a lot of light is getting produced. Some of it is blocked. LCDs में this is what happens. But in case of LED, the light which has to be produced, only that light is produced. No blocking is done. And thus LEDs are much more efficient than LCD displays. Okay, then OLEDs are easier to produce and can be larger in size because OLEDs are essentially plastic. They can be made into large thin sheets, which is in the case with LEDs. LEDs are much smaller. OLEDs have larger field view. Larger field views मतलब जैसे आप टीवी देख रहे हो, LCD टीवी को आप एक पर्टिकुलर एंगल तक देख सकते हो. Beyond that, LCD TV का visibility कम हो जाता है. Whereas that is not the case with OLEDs. OLEDs में this view is up to 170 large field view is up to 170 degrees. So even when you are sitting on the corners or like around 160 170 degree from the TV's angle, you'll be able to see this, you'll be able to watch it. Okay, limitations of OLED. Lifetime. Blue organic currently having much shorter lifetime. Blue organic LEDs have much shorter lifetime. Expensive manufacturing. Water can easily damage OLEDs because यहाँ पे कोई protective layer नहीं है, and thus it could be damaged. I hope OLED organic LEDs वाली बात समझ में आई है. Now recently what has happened? University of Chicago में they have developed an OLED material that is so flexible that it can be bent in half or stretched to more than twice its original length while still emitting light. तो ये OLED, suppose ये 1 centimeter into 1 centimeter का है, it can be stretched to 2 centimeters while still emitting light, while still functioning properly. And it can have thousands and thousands of other applications. ओके ये न्यूज में अभी ये वाली चीज थी, इसे थोड़ा सा रीड करेंगे. लेट्स कम टू हेल्थ. कौन है बेटा, क्या हुआ है आपको? Let's come back to this. People with light skin are at higher risk of skin cancer. मेरे पास स्किन कैंसर का रिस्क कम है, लाइट स्किन पीपल हैव हायर रिस्क ऑफ स्किन कैंसर. तो देखो स्किन कैंसर के मेन रीजंस क्या होते हैं? फैमिली हिस्ट्री, लाइफस्टाइल, अ पर्सनल हिस्ट्री ऑफ स्किन कैंसर एंड स्किन पिगमेंट. द मोस्ट कॉमन source of skin cancer is exposure to ultraviolet light, ultraviolet rays. Harsh Mittal, Harsh, if there is anything relevant we would do it, else don't cover anything else, don't touch any other source. जो हम करा रहे हैं वो काफी है, अगर मैंने वो कवर नहीं किया मुझे वो यूजलेस लगा होगा. ठीक है. साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी में वी वुड बी डूइंग एवरीथिंग. अभी एक और अपडेट क्लास है, वील बी डूइंग एवरीथिंग. प्लीज डू नॉट गो थ्रू एनी रैंडम सोर्स जहां से आप कुछ भी पढ़ रहे होगे. इफ देयर इज एनीथिंग रेलेवेंट वी वुड बी डूइंग इट. ओके, लेट्स कम बैक टू दिस. पीपल विथ लाइट स्किन, हाँ तो व्हाट वर बी सेइंग कि मोस्ट स्किन कैंसर इज कॉज्ड बाय टू मच एक्सपोजर टू सन, स्पेसिफिकली अल्ट्रावायलेट रेडिएशन. देखो अल्ट्रावायलेट रेडिएशन में देयर इज यूवीए, यूवीबी, यूवीसी. यूवीसी डज नॉट रीच अर्थ, ओजोन उसे स्टॉप कर देता है. यूवीबी थोड़ा पहुंचता है. यूवीए इज गुड फॉर अस, यूवीए थोड़ा चाहिए भी होता है, बट अल्ट्रावायलेट रेडिएशन ओवरऑल कैन बी प्रॉब्लमैटिक, कैन बी हार्मफुल. These can damage the cells in the skin and may also cause them to mutate. This mutation may lead to cancer. Melanoma is one of the most fatal kind of skin cancer. So melanoma is a name given to skin cancer. Now मेलेनिन जो होता है, मेलेनिन आप हमारे स्किन में मेलेनिन होता है, हम सबके स्किन में मेलेनिन होता है. People who are dark complexion they have more melanin, and people who are light complexion they have less melanin. Okay, now melanin is like natural sunscreen. It protects us from UV rays. Exposure to sun is the most important risk factor for skin cancer. People who are deeply pigmented, people who are dark skin have more melanin and are less likely to get skin cancer from too much exposure to sun. Please note, people who have deeply pigmented skin can also get skin cancer, but there is no evidence to suggest that this occurs because of sunburn or exposure to sun. तो स्किन कैंसर डार्क कॉम्प्लेक्शन लोगों को भी हो सकता है, बट इट विल नॉट बी फ्रॉम सनबर्न और एक्सपोजर टू सन, इट वुड बी बिकॉज ऑफ अदर फैक्टर्स. पीपल विथ लाइटली पिगमेंटेड स्किन are most at risk of skin cancer caused by sun's UV rays. Those who spend time outdoor either for long times or during middle of the day when sun is strongest risk getting excessive sun exposure and sunburn, and light complexion people may also get skin cancer here. तो इस आर्टिकल में अभी दिस आर्टिकल हैड कम रिसेंटली, इस आर्टिकल में कुछ और भी चीजें थी, सजेशंस, जैसे पीपल वी शुड नॉट गो आउट इन सन बिटवीन 10 AM to 4 PM. अगर जा रहे हैं तो शेड्स में जाए, जा रहे हैं तो फुल स्लीव कपड़े पहन के जाए, एक्सपोजिंग लेस एंड लेस ऑफ आवर स्किन. अगर जा रहे हैं तो सनस्क्रीन लगा के जाए. those things would come in the options, I think you'll be able to answer it, है ना, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी. बायोटेक्नोलॉजी. Scientists are engineering plants to produce insect sex perfume to replace pesticides. Now what is this? देखो there is this chemical called pheromones. Animal species ना pheromones release करती हैं to attract their mating partner. Animal species pheromones release करती हैं to attract their mating partner. ये बात समझ में आई? Now what scientists are trying to do, तो पहले pheromones क्या होते हैं समझ में आया? तो animal species would emit that. Now some insect trappers they also produce pheromones chemically and they use it. By that they trap insects. But जो chemically produced pheromones होते हैं ना, they are not as good as the one which is produced by animals, insects at their own. So now what scientists are doing? Scientists are genetically modifying plant to produce pheromones, which would be exactly like the pheromones which are produced by the insects, pests, to trap those insects, to trap those pests, है ना? सबके प्यार का मिसयूज करेंगे ये लोग, वो फेरोमोन से अट्रैक्ट होके बेचारा जाएगा, वहां फंस जाएगा. ऐसा थोड़ी होना चाहिए. दिस इज अनएथिकल. अनएथिकल है कि नहीं? सिद्धार्थ बोल रहा है उनका भी कटने दो प्यार में, बहुत दिल जला आशिक है. नहीं, अब तक नहीं जला, तुम ही जलाते रहो सबको. मार्क्स कितने हैं तुम्हारे टेस्ट पे? थोड़े बढ़ाने हैं, अच्छे मार्क्स. 80 प्लस. देखो इस टेस्ट में 80 प्लस स्कोर वाज गुड. व्हाई एम आई सेइंग? देखो 80 प्लस में यू आर नॉट क्लियरिंग द एग्जाम, you should have scored around 95, but 2 weeks में with revision you will easily be able to reach there. So keep on revising, keep on revising, keep on revising, and you will be able to reach that score. Fine. जैसे मैंने आपको फर्स्ट में को ही बोला, start your revision plan. Start your revision plan and stick to it. I assure you, whatever you have studied till 30th April, that is enough for you to clear this exam. That is enough for you to clear this exam. Are we understanding this? तो revise. Just updates. एक वीक में 1-2 घंटे के updates मैं दे रहा हूं, वो तो कर लो, वो चलेगा. Okay. Now let's come back to this. So did we understand the idea of what scientists are trying to do? तो यहां पे देखिए, GM crop root पे जा रहे हैं. Researchers use Nicotiana benthamiana. It's a species of tobacco. Nicotiana, nicotine. इस प्लांट को साइंटिस्ट ने यूज किया. ये प्लांट ना हमने कई बार यूज किया. जैसे हमें जब इबोला के एंटीबॉडीज प्रोड्यूस करने थे, तो इस प्लांट में इबोला के एंटीबॉडीज वाले जीन डाले गए, सो दैट दिस प्लांट स्टार्ट्स प्रोड्यूसिंग दोज एंटीबॉडीज. कोरोना वायरस लाइक पार्टिकल्स बनाने थे फॉर वैक्सीनेशन, तब भी दिस प्लांट वाज जेनेटिकली मॉडिफाइड. इवन नाउ फॉर द प्रोडक्शन ऑफ फेरोमोन्स, this plant has been chosen. Here scientists built a sequence of DNA in the lab. They built this sequence of DNA in the lab that mimic moth genes and also put in place a few molecular switches that can precisely regulate how the molecules are formed. The switches can turn the manufacturing process on and off. So what they did, they created gene for the pheromones, for moth pheromone in the lab. They added it in the tobacco plant. Plus, they also added some switches which will decide when the pheromone production will start, when the pheromone production would stop. Without these switches, if the plant kept on producing pheromones, then their normal growth would get affected. And thus, this switch mechanism has been brought into play. Advantages of using pheromones: they are highly specific to species. अलग-अलग species अलग-अलग type के pheromones produce करते हैं. तो जब हम general type of pesticide use कर लेते हैं, then we also end up killing butterflies, pollinators, which are good. We only want to kill some specific pest. So advantage of using this mechanism is we specifically develop and trap those pheromones which are useful, which are of the pest which are problematic. Right? Are we getting this pheromones wala idea? Okay. BIORAP, Biological Research Regulatory Approval. Union Ministry, Dr. Jitendra Singh launched this single nation portal for biotech research and startups. Under this क्या होगा? This portal will cater to all those seeking regulatory approval required for biological research and development activity in the country. BioRap. Let's come to some miscellaneous update. Core rotating slower than Earth. Earth का core is rotating slower than Earth. This was one of the news in March. So what is this Earth का core rotating slower than Earth? Do we understand Earth का interior is divided into core, mantle, crust. In fact, core is the largest of them. आप देखोगे core का जो radius होता है, that is around 3500 kilometers. Mantle is only 2900 kilometers. Total 6400 होता है. 6400 kilometers is the radius of Earth. Crust तो बहुत पतला सा है. Then mantle around 2900 and core around 3500 kilometers. Now core is divided into two parts, outer core and inner core. Inner core is the solid one, outer core is the liquid one. इस बार प्रीलिम्स में क्वेश्चन आया था, इस बार प्रीलिम्स बोल रहा हूं, प्री समीक्षा में क्वेश्चन आया था इस वाले पे, है ना? तो आउटर कोर इज द लिक्विड वन, इनर कोर में इतना ज्यादा प्रेशर है कि इट हैज बिकम सॉलिड. नाउ व्हाट इज द स्टडी सेइंग? स्टडी इज सेइंग कि इनर कोर इज रोटेटिंग, अर्थ इज रोटेटिंग, इट इज कंप्लीटिंग वन रोटेशन इन 24 आवर्स. इनर कोर इज रोटेटिंग at a rate which is slower than Earth's rate of rotation. Inner core is rotating at a rate which is slower than Earth's rate of rotation. Now, they are not saying it always happens. They say that जो inner core का rotation speed है ना, it keeps on changing. It sometimes is higher than Earth's speed of rotation, sometimes it's lower than Earth's speed of rotation, and that is visible in the Earth's speed of rotation. देखो, अगर Earth के core में it is moving faster, will it also try to make Earth move faster? So in those times, the one rotation, when one rotation takes place in lesser time, our day would be of lesser period. But when Earth's core is rotating slowly than outside wala, so this slow movement will reduce the speed of rotation of the entire Earth. There, one day would be slightly longer. It's not visible to, it's not observable to us because the variation is so small, but this happens. So the study has said the Earth ka core is moving slowly. Study suggests that inner core rotates relative to Earth surface back and forth like a swing. Back and forth like a swing मतलब ये बोल रहे हैं कभी वो fast rotate करेंगे, कभी slow rotate करेंगे, and it takes place a cycle of around 70 years. For example, the inner core started rotating slightly faster. In 1970, it was exactly rotating at the same speed. Then in 1970s, it started rotating slightly faster. Then Earth, rest of the Earth. Later, it slowed down. वो faster rotate करने लगा था. Then it slowed down and reached the speed of Earth in 2009. After that, it has slowed down. Today, Earth's core is rotating at a speed lower than, or at an angular speed lower than the speed of Earth. This is what the study says. The rotation timelines roughly line up with the changes in what is called length of the day. Length of the day has changed over the years, so and this timeline matches. But caution. Some experts who are not part of the study say that this study have expressed caution about its finding. It say that more study needs to be done, more research needs to be done before we actually agree to it. Okay, but at least this was in news. We'll have an idea about it. Bisivokovus. Can you see this image? एक मगरमच्छ जैसा इंसान है पर इसके आगे चोंच है. Is it visible? Like online visible है कि नहीं? आपके नोट्स में दिख रहा है क्या? देखो, हाँ, ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट में दिख रहा है ना. बट दिस इज अ रेप्टाइल विच हैज चोंच, beak. Reptile which has beak. Paleontologists have unearthed fossil of Basivokovus, a newly discovered reptile species that is related to both crocodile and birds. April 2023. इसे डेनिस ओवन पे सवाल आ गया था ना, ऐसे ही Basivokovus is a fossil of an living organism which is having characteristic of both crocodile and bird. It's a squat. Squat मतलब जो ऐसे बैठने वाला, herbivorous relative of modern crocodile and birds that had beak-like mouth and roamed the globe around 250 to 227 million years ago. It's pronounced as Basseva Javs. I don't know pronunciation. Speaks to the modern day location where its fossilized remains were unearthed. Its remains were unearthed in US. तो उसी जगह के बारे में बताता है. Big lizard from the Alcoa area. It is in the indigenous language of the Americans, the origins. Bisivo is also the first of several ancient animals to be named as a result of this partnership and renewed paleontological involvement in the area. Bisivo fossils were collected from Pope Edgy Formation, a portion of exposed rock in parts of northern Rocky Mountains, including the southern Bighorn Mountains in Wyoming that date to Triassic 237 to 227 million years ago. तो ये नाम अगर आ जाता है एग्जाम में गलती से भी, Basivokovus, इसका प्रोनाउंसिएशन एक्चुअली ये है बासेवा जाओसा, बासेवा जाओसा। ये वो अब ओरिजिनल लाइक ओरिजिनल जो अमेरिकन हैं उनके नाम उनके लैंग्वेज में है। उसका मतलब है बिग लिजर्ड फ्रॉम द एल्कोवा एरिया। गॉट इट। एक एनवायरमेंट का अपडेट है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट ट्रीटी मार्च में हुई जो हमने अपडेट्स में मिस कर दी थी, हाई सीज ट्रीटी। हाई सीज ट्रीटी, लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड हाई सीज ट्रीटी। जूम कर दो, अरे इतना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, इग्नोर। हाई सीज ट्रीटी पे आओ, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, ये अच्छे से समझो। देखो फर्स्ट डू वी अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट हाई सी इज। देखो हमने यूनाइटेड नेशन कन्वेंशन ऑन लॉ ऑफ सीज पढ़ा है। देयर इज टेरिटोरियल वाटर, देयर इज कॉन्टिगुअस जोन, देयर इज एक्सक्लूसिव इकोनॉमिक जोन, बट बियॉन्ड दैट देयर आर प्लेसेस जहां पे किसी के इंडिविजुअल इकोनॉमिक राइट्स नहीं है, राइट? दोस प्लेसेस आर हाई सीज। हाई सीज आर open seas areas that are outside jurisdiction of any country. This consists of 64% of the world ocean and 43% of the earth. अर्थ पे लैंड भी है ना, तो 64%, तो रिमेनिंग 36% of the world ocean has jurisdiction of one or the other country, but around 64% of the ocean surface on earth is under high sea, that is किसी का jurisdiction नहीं है. Now there are various legal framework here. जैसे यूनाइटेड नेशन कन्वेंशन ऑफ लॉ ऑफ सीज है, वो कुछ प्रोटेक्शन करते हैं। ऐसे ही अंटार्कटिक ट्रीटी सिस्टम है। अंटार्कटिक ट्रीटी सिस्टम में हमने देखा था अंटार्कटिका में वो मरीन प्रोटेक्टेड एरियाज बनाए जा रहे हैं, है ना? बट देयर वाज ग्लोबल लेवल पे देयर वाज नॉट अ ट्रीटी व्हिच वाज स्पेसिफिकली फोकस्ड ऑन सस्टेनेबल यूज, सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट। यूनाइटेड नेशन कन्वेंशन ऑन लॉ ऑफ सीज वाज प्राइमरली फोकस्ड ऑन किसका जुरिस्डिक्शन रहेगा, though there is a provision there for sustainable use, but its primary focus was what? Jurisdiction kiska rahega, how dispute would be resolved, right? Its primary focus was that. Are we understanding this? Pakka? So we did not have anything which specifically focused on sustainable development, environment protection in high seas. Now this treaty, agreement under the UNCLOS on conservation and sustainable use of marine biodiversity in areas beyond national jurisdiction. Biodiversity beyond national jurisdiction, BBNJ भी बोल रहे हैं इसे। तो this is जिसे हम हाई सी ट्रीटी बोल रहे हैं, it is this treaty. तो देखो जैसे अंडर यूनाइटेड नेशन फ्रेमवर्क कन्वेंशन ऑन क्लाइमेट चेंज वी हैव पेरिस एग्रीमेंट या क्योटो प्रोटोकॉल वी हैड, या फिर जैसे वियना कन्वेंशन के अंदर वी हैड मॉन्ट्रियल प्रोटोकॉल। In the same way, UNCLOS के अंदर we have this agreement. UNCLOS के अंदर we have this agreement under UNCLOS on conservation and sustainable use of marine biodiversity in areas beyond national jurisdiction. The UN members have agreed to a framework for conservation and sustainable use of resources in the open surface or open oceans. The High Sea Treaty will work as an implementation agreement under UNCLOS. हमने UNCLOS पढ़ा है डिटेल में. It will be working as an implementation agreement under UNCLOS, much like Paris Agreement under UNCLOS. Key provisions. There are 4 main objectives of UNCLOS. First is demarcation of marine protected areas. तो देखो Antarctic Treaty System में तो there was a marine protected area का mechanism, but in high seas at other places there was no such mechanism. Now under this treaty the countries may come and agree to declare that area as marine protected area. वहां पे commercial hunting, commercial fishing and those things would not be allowed. Individual countries or group of countries may propose an area with data showing that it is facing these problems, and that proposal may get it. So now we have a provision for marine protected area establishment in high seas. We have marine protected areas in national jurisdiction. We have marine protected areas provision for Antarctica. Now globally marine protected areas in high seas would be created. Second, it provides for sustainable use and equitable sharing of benefit. जो marine genetic resources है उसका सस्टेनेबल यूज को प्रमोट कर रहा है, प्लस इट्स सेइंग दैट द बेनिफिट दैट एनीवन इज एक्वायरिंग फ्रॉम यूजिंग दोज जेनेटिक रिसोर्सेज शुड बी इक्विटेबली शेयर्ड. इट्स आल्सो टॉकिंग अबाउट एनवायरमेंटल इंपैक्ट असेसमेंट फॉर ऑल मेजर एक्टिविटीज इन द ओशन। देखो हाई सी में तो बहुत सारी कंट्रीज हैं जिन्हें फिशिंग का माइनिंग की राइट्स मिल जाते हैं। नाउ द प्रोजेक्ट्स विच में हैव बिगर इम्पैक्ट्स will have to go through environmental impact assessment once this international law comes into force. Abhi member countries have agreed on it, it's not in force yet. For it to come into force, at least 60 countries have to ratify it. It has just been finalized. Abhi ratification would start when 60 countries would ratify it, it would come into force. After that, any big project will have to go through environmental impact assessment for all major activities. The agreement includes an obligation to conduct EIA for activities with potential impact on high seas that will apply to new activities such as geoengineering. It also includes a new impact threshold to trigger a screening process, which means impact threshold like इस project का कितना impact है उसके हिसाब से screening process would be finalized. And then it has a provision for capacity building and technology transfer also. These are the 4 major objectives of the High Sea Treaty. Are we getting this? Are we understanding this? Now, इसका भी COP होगा, कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑफ पार्टीज, एंड इट विल बी द हाईएस्ट डिसीजन मेकिंग बॉडी. तो COP which act as decision making body of the treaty will take work forward and will also act as platform to work with existing authorities that regulate fishing, shipping, etc. There would be some challenges ahead. Why? एक तो we have been able to come to this treaty after 20 years of negotiation, है ना. इसमें अभी भी रैटिफिकेशन पेंडिंग है. UNCLOS took 12 years to get ratified. Kyoto Protocol took 8 years to get ratified. 1997 में Kyoto Protocol साइन हुआ था. It got ratified in 2005. So its ratification would be a challenge. Treaty must be ratified by minimum 60 countries for it to be successful. Now, इसका impact can be as big as that of Paris Agreement. So 64% of the world's ocean could be sustainably used. But अभी कब फोर्स में आएगा, when enough number of countries would ratify it, all those things are थोड़ा सा dilemma में. But this is an important thing that we had missed, so I'm specifically covering it here. Go through it carefully. It's very 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 important. मार्च अप्रैल की चीजें होती है ना, जो जब पेपर बन रहा होता है सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें न्यूज में होती हैं, वो बहुत जरूरी हो जाती है. अर्थ डे 22 अप्रैल को होता है, पढ़ लेना, फैक्चुअल है. आई थिंक विद दिस वी आर डन फॉर टुडे. कल आपका पॉलिटी का एक RTFQ है, वो एक्ट वगैरह वाली चीजों का RTFQ बच गया था, वो है. डे आफ्टर टुमारो आई विल टेक RTFQ फॉर साइंस एंड सम मोर अपडेट्स ऑन साइंस. हाँ, वो ऑलरेडी डला हुआ है यूट्यूब लाइव का टाइम. ठीक है, तो आई विल सी यू डे आफ्टर टुमारो. आई विल सी यू ऑन थर्सडे. हम साइंस के RTFQ खत्म करते हैं. 500 क्वेश्चन. वी आर ऑलरेडी डन विद 420 क्वेश्चंस. 80 more questions with some more updates on this. Thank you very much.